of like being you guys, exactly how I would be doing it right now. Because obviously it evolves more. You guys don't have the different tools that I have. I do still have my book from 13 years ago, which is pretty nuts. But I'll show you guys, and I had all my, random stuff in here so you guys can see it. But I'm gonna do it just real basic so you guys can watch. And just what I want you to do, and you can take some notes, just kind of take, just takeaways, phrases. I don't know, anything that you see. You'll see my demo is just so basic. I used my sample kit forever. You want to have the chef knife. You want to get the chef knife. That's something I always use on my demos. Was my chef. And then I always had, I got the Hardy slicer. That was a tool that I love to show. And then I would definitely have the cheese knife. Those are like musts. So through contests or whatever it is. And that's why, and when the flatware came out, definitely the flatware. That's why I put those, when we did the push contest, I put those as different levels because those things help you sell so much. So a couple of things, because I'm just going to use, I'm going to use her book here, but you'll see, good morning, Will. I just want to show you guys this right here. So I had them sign, like every time people bought stuff, there's like signatures all over my scholarship. That's me once upon a time when I was a little girl, all right, baby Cathy. Then this was big for me is the demo goals and the sales goals. So mine doesn't have banners. I can use,
Are we filling it? Do we fill in our fast start as we go?
Yes, you do. So I'll use my book, but there are going to be things different, obviously, because mine's like 13 years old, but you'll still get the gist of stuff. Cool. Okay. So normally when we walk in, talk to you guys about just when you're walking in, are you building, rapport that is leading you to the recommendations. And that's really important. So when I'm walking in, and I'm not going to spend that, because I spend 15 minutes chatting and we're going to like nix that. I'm just going to go into the goals aspect. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, where do you guys get that? And finding out about the neighborhood, their family. Oh, does your family all live around here? And I'm sharing with them. And I'm like, oh yeah, my mom's Puerto Rico, my aunt's in Chicago, my other cousins are in New York. We're chatting, but everything that I'm asking about are people that at the end I can go, oh, how about the side neighbor, the front neighbor? How about the whole neighborhood if they said they were really close? Oh, how about your family? Or how about I can do virtual demos to like your sister or whoever. So it's very specific. So I talked about that in the SLDM. So I'm just chatting with them. So I'm like, yeah, so anyway, and I'll ask them, like, we'll just chat, and my transition is usually, I'm like, so you guys have never heard of Cutco? Or I'm like, so how did you guys hear about Cutco? And they'll tell me, and that's how we transition into the book. Got it? So the whole time beginning, we're just kind of chatting, walking around the house, we're sitting down, catching up on their friend, especially when you see recommendations, because the connection, they have to use their friend. And I'm like, oh yeah, I had so much fun at Julie's. I'm like, the kids are so nuts. And we're just like talking about the kids and the mom and this. And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, she didn't tell me how long you guys knew each other. I said, she told me that you were awesome, but she didn't tell me where you guys met or whatever. And so they're like, oh, we met through this, or the kids' little league, or, whatever it may be. They're chatting about that. So I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, so you've never heard of Cutco? No. All right. Get rid of that. So awesome. Well, this right here, this is what I was telling you on the phone. I'm working super hard for a scholarship. And actually, can you get me a little table to put here? This is probably better if I record this way, or you can put this there. So this right here is my, there we go. I always had an order here. Thank you. Oh. Huh? Sorry. Can you put this like between you guys? A little bit behind you. It's fine. Mm-hmm.
She was like, grab a chair. And I was like, I'll probably fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were on the group with me at like 3 a.m. I was like, damn, well, go to sleep.
I got back home and my friend Justin called me for that call Miller, and he's a really good close friend.
We got to roll. I have the whole division live streaming right now. So
okay.
Let's put that a little bit further back, but put it so it, like they can see what you guys are doing.
Oh, thanks.
Can you scooch that over? Josh, scooch up.
Here, you guys are college.
You don't need to look at it. You guys are looking at
Like
me.
this way, like
I'm
just trying.
like, can they see me?
So we'll
that
just
good?
put this. Use controller. No, this way. Yes, thank you. We're doing a demo. No, I'm just gonna catch it.
Oh, you're selling Cutco.
All right. So anyway, so this right here. This is a scholarship that I was telling you guys about the phone. So this is actually something I'm super excited about. I heard about the job, I was telling you, like, randomly. I heard about it at actually at school. I found like a little business card at school. But I talked to my career services and they were like, oh, this is super legit. You should go check it out. And then when I went for my interview, actually a bunch of my friends from my honors college worked there, like completely random. One of the girls that I was in honors, actually her boyfriend was an assistant manager. And then he was like, oh, Brian works here and that. And so like a bunch of my friends actually ended up working there. Many of them had earned scholarships or college credit, or we're doing an internship at the current moment, which is pretty cool. So that excited me. Like kind of a weird job, but really cool opportunities. I think it's a huge student program. So it's really designed to teach life skills, like presentation skills, interacting with people, and just self-confidence, organization, time management. I've definitely gotten better with my time doing this so far, even just in a couple days. But this is a scholarship I'm really excited about. So the top 50 students in the summer get this. And this is something I'm stoked about for multiple reasons. One, obviously, it'll actually money for school, so it's great. But also for my resume, you know, to be able to put on my resume that I was top 50 in the nation out of 40,000 people looks pretty sweet with a multi-million-dollar company. And I really want to stand out to be one of the top performers in the company because they do have internships. So I was saying, and they have like management internships, entrepreneurship internships, and I could actually run my own office. So next, and they have a program just to teach the foundations of running a business, where I can actually run my own business for the summertime. So I would apply at the end of the summer this year, and if I get selected during the school year, it's kind of like taking one more credit for school. So they have a program, a curriculum that we go through in the fall and spring, and then in January they make the final selections for who's gonna actually get the branch spots, which is running their own office next summer, and then who gets the management spots, just the internships as an assistant manager. So my goal is to be one of the top people, run my own business. I'm like, I don't know what the heck I want to do in the future. I do know that I want to be at the top of whatever I'm doing, and I do have some different ideas of business that I'd love to run, and I love doing a lot of nonprofit stuff, so there's just different things that I'd like to do. So loving this for networking purposes too. It's been a lot of fun meeting cool people like Julie and then you guys. So thank you guys again so much for doing the demo. So my goal is to be right here. And by the way, before I was in the brochure, I just had a picture of myself taped to number 1. And I would recommend that. Just like tape a picture of yourself randomly, because then they just start laughing. I'm like, so that's me, you know, like, well, not yet. But my goal is definitely to be in the top. This is my friend Peter Sheets, by the way. He was in the honors college with me, super quiet guy. And then, you know, that's me back when I was young. But I don't pretend it's a picture. I'm like, so that's me, that's where I want to be. All right, and this is our academic advisory board. These professors actually help work really close with our school, with the schools, to really help enhance the programs, because like I said, you can earn credits for the skill sets. So they actually have the curriculums at their schools, but also are real big endorsers for it and just work directly with the company to help us improve programs. So these are my goals right here. My goal this summer, in order to win the scholarship, is sell $50,000, which means I need to do 150 appointments to get that done. So I appreciate you guys so much for helping me get one step closer. And I'll have you sign my demo goals at the end. And then my sales goals, I mean, if you guys just want to write me a check for $50,000, that would be awesome. And I'm just kidding. But definitely keep a lookout, because if you do see anything that you like, both the scholarship and both the scholarship and my contest that I was telling you about on the phone are both based on sales this year. So I have right now I also have the competition that's going on that I was telling you guys about, the playoffs. So the whole nation is competing right now for 2 weeks. So are you familiar with like sports teams and playoffs and stuff? So that's pretty much what we're doing. Like everyone competes head to head, you know, and again, this is another way to stand out and put me on pace for that scholarship. So my goal in the next 2 weeks is to sell $20,000 just in the next 2 weeks. So I'm gunning really hard right now. I'm currently at $5,000. So again, 15K away. And excited about that. So keep a lookout, because if you see any wedding, birthday gifts, anything you might need for the future, definitely helps me out a ton with that. All right. And if not, no big deal. I have my sponsorship. It's actually a free way you can help me out. Just like Julie introduced me to you guys. Same deal. I'll show you guys how you can be a sponsor later. This is awesome. All right. So these are different contests, and then this is my last, the push period or whatever. So Cutco is also really big on giving back. And by the way, just so you guys know, this stuff, like, I'll show you everything, and we have phenomenal products. Julie has them, Sandra has them, like Miss Jones. Oh my gosh, Elaine from the church, she's had them for like 50-something years, which is pretty crazy. But stuff's actually way too expensive for you to buy just to be nice. I'm assuming you didn't put away like $7 to 10 grand to redo your whole kitchen today. But I do want to show you guys why so many people invest in it, because it's pretty sweet. And Cutco also does a lot of giving back, which is something that I'm really passionate about, really excited about. Different stuff nationally and locally. So we have actually a medical clinic that we're building. So this was newer since 2010, but when I went out to sell in 2010. But this is something that we're working really hard for us to be able to build this clinic over in Haiti. When the earthquake hit 5 years ago, everything just kind of got shut down. They lost, like the hospital fell down, everything there. So this some of the Cutco reps and actually one of my good friends, Andy, came together to say, let's build a little hospital. And it's really been built by Cutco people, through Cutco sales reps, customers, everyone. So it's pretty cool. We kind of want to call it the Cutco hospital, but we're still, it's Angel Wings Clinic, so that's the nonprofit. But that's really cool, and I can tell you about that later. If you like giving back or are excited to be part of things like that, we can talk about that at the end. Then you have the Go Red, and that was something you supported before, but a lot of different things nationally, like I said. So thank you guys so much, just for having me, over. There's like a little mini lottery company house where they give you they give away $1,000 each month, so you guys get entered into that, so you can fill that out. Cool. All right, so in terms of the company, I've been around since 1949. We sell over $250 million, over 17 million customers. It's not sold like in Williams-Sonoma or Macy's or stores. It's sold direct because it's better for the money. Not cheap stuff at all. Everything's guaranteed forever, so it definitely costs more, but it's an amazing investment. It's kind of like Craftsman tools and Snap-on tools. Have you heard of those before, Josh? Yeah. So it's kind of like that, but for the kitchen. So all highest quality, all made in the USA, and I'll show you guys everything. Made in the USA since 1949. They've won tons of awards. They were in the Made in America show on the Travel Channel. We were in the Modern Marvels on the History Channel. We were on the Science Channel, on the How's It Made. Dr. Phil talked about us, gave Cutco away to everyone in his audience when he was doing Cooking Healthy. Oprah.
Gosh, funny.
Yeah. But we've been in all different, and we're displayed in different art institutes, but a lot of cool things. And just to show you, I know you guys haven't seen it before, this right here is one of the products that demonstrates the quality of Cutco. You guys can check this out. This thing's sweet. All right. These are our scissors, by the way. So Julie didn't tell you about the scissors?
No.
I showed you. So this right here, which is funny. These are our scissors. All right. So that's your penny.
Wow.
Wow, I cut right through that.
Yeah. So these right here, they come apart for easy cleaning, so you can throw them in the dishwasher, which is cool.
That is cool.
So you can use them, like my mom uses them for chicken, like chicken skin, and my dad will use them for like just different, like those those packages for electronics that are like plastic packages. Yeah, it goes
that never
right
open.
through them. Yep. So for toys and electronics, you can cut right through it. You can use them for thin metals. You can use them for tiles. You can use them for paper, cardboard. I mean, whether it's in the kitchen, arts and crafts, outdoors, anything that'll cut through, you can cut. I mean, if anything ever happens, they'll replace her free forever, but they're like our super duper shears. All right, so you can check those out. But as you can see, they're like super high quality, so obviously they're not going to be cheap. That's for sure. All right. So let me show you where we actually got the idea for Cutco. This right here, this is actually our most expensive set of knives. All right, do these look familiar at all?
Yep.
Okay.
Got a drawer full.
Yeah, people have drawers of this stuff collections through the years. Because usually, like I said, when you get married, or you had stuff before, even when you were like on your own, and then you move in, and then this isn't working, you replace this, and this isn't working, you replace that. My parents have like a drawer and a block set, like just so much random stuff. When I did my first time, well, now they have Cutco. But there's just common problems that a lot of people just don't know about. You know, it's not like you get married and you get like knife knowledge class, you know, like, so a lot of people don't know about a knife. So if nothing else today, you're gonna get some knife knowledge, all right? So this right here, 2 most common handles used for lower grade knives are your sets with wood and you have plastic, all right? So sets with wood are really nasty. They absorb everything. I mean, wood's porous, so like all the moisture, bacteria, salt from your palm, blood from the chicken, like it's absolutely disgusting. Then you have, but they're usually constructed better so they last longer, you know, but they're just so gross. Then you have sets with plastic chips, cracks, melts, your lower grade, I mean, it's slippery when it's wet as well. A lot of times they're just glued in so they can, when you're putting pressure, they can snap and break really easy. I don't know if you guys have ever had that happen, but I know I've definitely met a lot of different customers where that's happened to them. So that, you know, so those are the materials. As far as the construction, you don't want the blade to just go there where it can, you want the blade to go all the way through because the further back it goes, the better balance, the better support. So that all your top end knives, if you go again to like Sonoma, if you go to Sorla Table, if you go anywhere to buy like good knives, you'll see they all have a full tang. All right, so again, that's just how far the blade is. You'll see the metal go all the way through the handle because they're better balance and better support. Cool. Then these little guys are called rivets. Usually they're made of stainless or brass, and those expand and contract. They can loosen, they can pop out, and then you get like all the gook like around there, and all your top stuff doesn't have that, you know. But it's not good. Or they'll pop out. Like I had a customer actually like tape this, like duct tape it, because like the rivet had fallen out. All right. And then as far as actually that same customer, he had seen this knife. He's like, oh, I have that knife. I was like, oh yeah, grab it. And he got it. And I mean, it looked just like it, except this was popped out, had black tape. But this is like all rusty. I'm looking at it. He's like, yeah, that's my favorite knife. You know, like I use it for everything. And I just looked at him and I'm like, oh really? And he goes, yeah, I cut so well. And the thing is that carbon knives do, like these two materials, there's sets with carbon and sets with stainless, and your sets with carbon, they do last longer. We call them the will knives because they will stay sharp, but they will also rust and corrode. And this right here, it's the same it's the same type of steel you find on the end of like a tailpipe, you know. It's not the best way to get your iron intake. And his knife was like all like, you saw like the rust on it, and I was looking at it, I'm like, do you use that for food? And the wife is sitting there like, oh my God, get in. I'm like so embarrassed. And I looked at him and I'm like, no, I'm just wondering, you know. And he's like, well, I just sand the rust right off of it before I use it. And like when I sharpen it, he's like, but I wash it before I use it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, did you just say you sand the rust off your knife?
I know.
I'm like, all right, I have no comment. I'm not allowed to say bad things. I'm like, but I think you might need some new stuff. And the wife's like, yeah, we need new knives. So anyway, absolutely disgusting, but it holds a great edge, you know. And then you've got sets with stainless, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with stainless steel because they recommend that for all your kitchen stuff, right? Like pots, pan, everything in the kitchen is stainless steel. Reason being, it's very clean. It's a very clean metal. So we call it the won't knife because it won't rust, pit or corrode, but it won't stay sharp either. It's very soft metal. So for knives, it's not great because it dulls very easily. So what we use. What we use and like your Henkels and Wusthof, and like I saw you guys have some of the German stuff. That's good. All your top stuff, they use a combination. It's a high carbon stainless steel, right? So it stays sharp and it stays clean. Biggest problem with your Wusthof, Henkels, anyone that I meet that has your high grade, they're fantastic knives. They're made very well. They have great materials. They just have to be sharpened every time they're used, or they're supposed to be, because that's how they hold their edge. They're not supposed to be put in the dishwasher, and eventually at some point you will replace them, right? Where with Cutco, as I mentioned, everything's guaranteed forever. So let me show you Cutco. So you guys have never seen this stuff, huh?
Never.
So this right here is our Cutco knife, and these were designed. The guy who made these, I mean, he had the first design of the handles was like back in the 50s. So this has been the design since the 70s. So actually Miss Elaine that I was telling you about from church, her handles look different because she had them from the 50s.
Wow.
So they were a different handle. So these have been around since 73. But there's 5 features that make Cutco the best. And check it out. See how it fits in your hand.
Wow. So light.
Super comfy. So they're, the first thing is the handle that this dude made. I mean, he worked on handles forever. He made handles for like porch stiction, for suitcases, for like anything that has like an ergonomic handle. Like back in the 80s, he was in Forbes magazine and they did an article on our Cutco handles and said it was one of the best examples of ergonomics seen to date. He like studied hands for a living. So I don't know how I got into that, but he made a really great handle. So it actually locks the thumb and forefinger into place for better control and safety. You see how it like locks it right there. So a lot of people like they'll like put their finger on the top, you know, when they're cutting, and that's not super safe. Yeah, and this is also, it really, when it locks it here, it makes it real easy to use. So for people that do have carpal tunnel arthritis, it's just real easy and it's perfectly balanced. So the pressure's going here is the same pressure going there. Where people do this to like put pressure on it, you know, you can just, you know, use it really easy and it's really comfy. So that's the first feature, is the actual universal wedge lock handle. And if it's like lefties, righties, big small hands. So not cheap at all to have that, you know, that design, but we wanted something that set us apart and, you know, long-term was better. The second material is actually the material that we use. If you check this out, look at this, it kind of looks like a bowling ball. Like they're made with like red, brown, and black. So this right here is a resin material. We use thermal resin. So it's similar to, you know, they use resins for bowling balls, football helmets, inside of dishwashers. So it's not gonna chip, crack, break. It's gonna last a lot longer. Doesn't absorb moistures, which is nice. So it's really sanitary. So you don't have like all the goo getting in there. So I meant like, oh, you guys knew the pink kids. They actually, I know I was talking to Julie, she said you guys like all do stuff with the kids and stuff together. But the pink kids, they actually have had their Cutco since like the 80s. And I mean, if you look at their stuff, it looks like brand new, you know, still. So, yep. And if anything ever happened to them, like we have I'll show you the white handles are beautiful. And people sometimes will be like, how about these stay? I'm like, if anything happens to Cutco, they're going to replace it. So you're good. But they're not made to be replaced all the time because then the company would lose money, you know. But the material is awesome. So super sanitary, lasts a long time, dishwasher safe. Cool. As far as the construction, it goes all the way through, which we were talking about, so it's very balanced, you know, great support. These little guys are nickel silver alloy, which your top is always used. It's an alloy that's great against pressure, so it's not going to loosen, it's not going to pop out. All right, so that way it's sanitary and it stays together. So you still have the knives, you know, holding up from 50 years ago, like Elaine, or 80 years ago, like the pink kids. So that's really sweet. The fourth feature is the actual steel that we use. You see how shiny it is? It's actually a mirror finish. Yeah. So you can check yourself out. So when he's coming up for dinner, you're like, how do I look? You know, just looking in your eyes in the mirror. But that it's a combination of both of these. All right, so it's a high carbon stainless steel, so it stays sharp and it stays clean. Definitely a more expensive material to use. It's actually a surgical grade steel. It's a 440 grade A. I don't know if you know steels, but it's the highest grade you can get for kitchen cutlery. Cool. So let me show you the edges and how those work. And by the way, in the beginning when we were chit chatting, like they always ask, "Oh, are you gonna need anything?" You know, when we're like sitting down. And I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "Any food that you want to chop up?" I'm like, "If you can grab your best." Your favorite serrated when it has like the little teeth, straight edge, and a steak knife. I said, any fruits or veggies you want to chop up, bring that all out. So like when we're just chatting, they usually grab all that before we sit down, just so you guys know, like when I'm just walking in. So we already have it out. So let's see here. So we're gonna use yours. Let's pretend they were already out. Okay. Warriors.
Oh.
So we'll grab your handles, your human one.
Yeah, my neighbors like just bought, when I went to go sell to them, they had just bought the roof stuff like yesterday.
Oh no.
No. What do you mean, oh no? I would tell them to return them.
Yeah.
Seriously, they just bought them. Within the last 30 days or most of 45 days, you can return and get your money back. If not, they can trade it
Use
in.
that money.
People who had them for 2 months or more, I just told them like, oh, you can just trade them in. And then they got it for a bigger set. If they had them longer, we'll just hold this together so we can have the teeth. And anyone who got them recently, I'm like, oh, awesome. I'm like, so you can still return them back. Like, that's just not even, that's not even a thing.
Yeah, they said they weren't interested.
So then they just didn't like it. Didn't matter. They loved it. All right, I don't know what the steak knife is, but we're going to use, the last one. Oh, there's your serrated ankles. Boom. So you got your Wusthof and your ankles. All right, cool. So check this out. I know, or I'm gonna assume you guys don't eat rope every day, all right?
Don't eat
Yeah, like I don't know if that's your thing, but just to show you guys how the actual edges work, all right? Usually I have a longer piece, but regardless. All right, so who does more of the cooking, by the way?
Me.
You do? All right, so you're cutting. So let's check this out. By the way, the reason I do that is the one who cooks is naturally interested and engaged, and I want to keep the other person engaged. All right.
Okay.
So, all right, Josh, let's do this thing. So go ahead and grab this. Grab this side of the rope, please. I want you to start on the back and go full strokes back and forth to cut through there. Yep, and cut forward. All right, cool. So this is your ankles, and so they'll rip and tear food, whatever you're doing. Here's your start in the back, press down hard, same deal. See how many strokes it takes you to go through. Oh, this one wasn't sharp enough. Yeah. Keep going, keep going. And by the way, with the edges, I said before, serrated edges, they rip and tear up food. And they'll cut for however long they stay sharp, depending on the quality of the knife, Some just a year or two, some longer. You guys have good stuff. So this is going to stay sharp a little. Well, it's a good knife. The problem is they have to be sharp. It's a hassle.
Yeah,
they have to be
I haven't
sharp.
sharpened them, and I don't even know how long.
Go, 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 go.
Almost
You can
there.
do it. You can do it. You can do it. You didn't know you were going to get a workout today, huh? All right. There we go. All right. And they do, the thing is they do give a clean cut, all right? And go ahead and drop this. And start in the back here, press down hard, and go all the way.
Oh, wow.
Halfway.
A
Then
little
you
easier.
need the full stroke.
So here's a cool thing. And even if you sharpen this, you could get through it quicker, but they do have to be sharpened every time. And if you don't, like you're saying you don't sharpen them always,
No.
they get into the thicker part of this, and it's harder and harder to get the original peak back, all right?
Okay.
Where with Cutco, and by the way, I've had customers who cut through in a stroke, don't be phased. I'm like, okay, cool. And then here, try ours, just like that, cut through quicker. So the cool thing about Cutco is it'll cut that same way for the next 10 years without sharpening
wow.
inside. Some people have them 15, 20, 25 years and they've never even sharpened them, so I don't recommend that. I recommend every 10 to 15 years, but they last, they keep kicking. There's little points, and I'll show you how this works. So this right here is how the points work. This is my ginormous version. It's got three, the inside right here where you see the points, this has three cutting edges inside, cuts forward, back, and down. So these little points, what they do is they're like little protectors. Okay. So they, over time, these will dull back, but the inside's still cutting. So it just lasts a lot longer, all right? And as I mentioned, you will have these forever, all right? It's my forever page. This is, actually there's Lisa. And she had them, so anyways they had, so that's Lisa, there's Sarah, so she's had them over 30 years, and she's like, yeah, when I got them, I thought they were so expensive 30 years ago. She's like, I feel it's one of the most, economical purchases. I use my knives daily. I've had them sharpened, definitely quality product. This was Debbie Tuckerman, one of my mom's boss's friends, and she had a Cutco forever. This is actually Ben Abdallah. He was a neighbor of one of my guys from college. They're his parents' neighbors, and Ben actually sold Cutco in 1969. So this is pretty cool. He's like, I sold Cutco, and by the way, like he was like young, like college kid selling Cutco, and he's like, oh my gosh, he goes, I can't believe I'm seeing this again. And he had returned, and he had clothes and stuff. I watched it. I'm like, I cannot believe you. And he started laughing. He's like, I didn't know. But he actually traded in his stuff because we have like trade-ins where you can for like all the fundraisers to help us sell more of the bigger sets. The company has trade-ins where you can trade in a car at a dealership. You could actually trade in your old stuff and get deals.
Oh, okay.
So he actually did that. He traded in his stuff, and finally he has his Cutco set he'll always have. So that's cool. And this was his this is his neighbor, Laura. She actually had seen Cutco years ago, and she's like, her friend of hers, Diana, has had Cutco for over 10 years. She's like, I too had a presentation from a college student, but at the time I didn't see the need for that, so thankfully Cathy's presentation and her knowledge, so they actually got a complete set, and they love it, so it's the Farrell, so they have it too. But anyway, it's awesome. Like my grandmother has had them, by the way, and I found this out later. I didn't even know this my first weekend. I knew this like a couple weeks later. But grandma's actually had them since 1957. Elena had them from 1952. My best friend Julie's parents have had them since the 80s, I guess, for almost 40 years now. But First part of the guarantee for our performance, if anything happens to anything Cutco makes, they fix or replace it for free forever. Cool. So anything happens to it, they're gonna replace them always. Forever sharpness, if they're ever not as sharp as when you first had them, you can send them back for professional sharpening. Also, we have sales representatives, including myself, that can come out and touch them up. And it's good to do, I say once a year, but definitely every couple years. It's preventative maintenance. It just kind of keeps them touched up. It keeps the edges because even the double D edge, they'll get these little burrs where it kind of curves. And again, it'll last. But if you keep straightening them out, if you keep them fixed up, it gives them more years. It gives them more life. That's how people have them 20, 25 years without ever sending them to the factory. Where if you don't do that, I recommend sending them in within like about a decade, about 10 years or so.
Okay.
But then you have your misuse or abuse. So if Josh, you're like, all right, I'm gonna help out in the backyard, cut down some trees. You don't want to take the Cutco knives out there, even though they're really sharp. I actually had a customer do that, but if that happens, the company will absorb half the cost because they weren't made to cut down trees, even though they're really good and really sharp. And lastly is a 15-day unconditional money back. You have 3 weeks. Anytime somebody wants to try something out, you're actually able to put down a deposit to try out Cutco and just see how you like it. You have 3 weeks to try it. Make sure you love it. Worst case scenario, send it back. Get free Cutco for 3 weeks. So, and I'll walk through that with you guys. And especially if I'm seeing with alone, especially since we see so many moms alone, they like to make a lot of decisions, like talk it over with spouses. So that's our husband back guarantee. So that way you can try it out with him, or just send him back. No, I'm just kidding. But you can try it out with him for a couple weeks, see how he likes it, and then roll from there. Cool. So just so I know, do you guys cook? How many times a week would you say you cook?
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe
cool.
4.
And do you cook because you like to or because you have to?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay. And that's what you're saying. And then when you have place settings out for dinner table, do you like to have a traditional setting of 8? Do you like to have 12, 16, or more?
12.
12?
Okay, yeah, 12.
She sets the table, all right? Before, it's like, I just eat, all right? So, cool. Well, just so I know, just so that you're aware, Cutco actually makes everything in the kitchen. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
And I didn't mention this before. We actually make the K-bar knives that the U.S. military uses to protect our country. Yeah.
Wow.
So they make K-bar, the U.S. Marine Corps fighting knives. Some of the police forces use. Those are all made in our factory too. So that's pretty cool. So it's again not cheap stuff. Very high quality. So this right here, we've got our different sets, which I'm going to talk about. We have our flatware, which is absolutely gorgeous. We have pots and pans, and we have tons of indoor and outdoor accessories. I'm going to start with the sets first, just because that's people's usually first investment. And then I'll show you everything real quick, because if you guys do see anything that you might want for the future, there's always great big bundles and packages. Just like, you go to Best Buy and they have little bundles, and you get, a bunch of free stuff for better pricing when it's together. So this is our basic set. This one's been around since '49. It was designed, if you don't cook at all, to cover all your basic cutting needs. It's 7 knives, 2 forks, and a spatula. Comes with a traditional setting of 8 table knives. Has the kitchen tools and the scissors. All right. We have our complete set. Our complete set is for people that love to cook, love to entertain, have big families, or love to have the best. All right. This is actually Julie's set. All right. Then we have, and then there's one that's actually in between for people that just do they like to cook or do basic entertaining, which is really nice. Let me walk you guys through those real quick. So first tool in your basic set is your air knife. All right. So this right here, I don't know if you guys ever cut. Do you guys ever peel anything in the air? Or if you're talking about strawberries or cutting bananas, like my mom, she's apples and she's like Huck Finn. My abuela uses that for like plantains and going through there, taking the sides off. I use it for like avocados, going around and taking the pit out. And you see how it's like a longer handle too. So it's really comfy. Yeah. And I let them peel it. I'm like, yeah, you can have at it, play with it. But you're never going to use that on the board, by the way, Josh, only how you're using it in the air. And so that's why we have our small utility trimmer, all right? This right here, and by the way, I always you just keep going. Like I let them keep playing. A rookie mistake is you sit there and wait till they're done and then go to the next one. You just keep going. So I'm like, yeah, so, and they're going through, I'm like, but you're not going to use that on the board. And that's why you have our trimmer.
Oh, wow.
So this is the why. Yeah,
really
all right. I think it's so elegant. This is what my parents got. And this is what I tell everyone they should get because it's so pretty. But it's very unique. You walk into the house and you see that. It's not something that everybody has. It also stands out for sure. Yeah, so this guy right here, you got to check this out. So I actually brought, and if they have tomato, I'm like, oh, grab the tomato. I'm like, have you ever cut a tomato, by the way, with like a dull knife?
Yes, it just squishes it. And
Or you're like
all
poking
over
it.
the
My mom always
place,
like
and-
pokes it, like goes around it, you know. So this thing's sweet. It cuts super thin. So check this out. And if they don't have a tomato, I always had like either small tomatoes or grapes. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I got it. And they're like, oh, you brought your own food? I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, you gotta see this. So you gotta check the precision of it out because it will not squish it. Like your fingers will squish it more than the knife does. Check this out. And like I'll show them and I'm like, here, try it out, you know, and I'm like, yeah. So see how thin you can go.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, so that one's really good too, by the way. Do you guys ever cut like your limes or lemons for your Coronas? You at least do that, right? Okay. But yeah, if you're doing like oranges in the morning, grapefruit, you can use it also for like trimming fat off of meat, deboning, descanning. And by the way, the air knife, the complete set that I was telling you about, that Julie set, she actually got, that set has a larger version too, which is nice when you're doing larger pairing jobs. Now, this one, you can get away with your trimming fat off of meat, deboning with your basic stuff, but the complete does have a larger version that is made specialty for deboning and deskinning. So
it's bigger than this one?
it's just a little bit longer,
Okay.
and it's a straight edge that's made for filleting, butterflying,
Got
and I mean, you can literally like grab the fat, like my mom does that with the tobacco, the skirt steaks, and it just like glides through. It's like butter, but it's made for that, so it's more specialty. That comes in Julie's set.
Okay.
The next one, your basic set's your spatula. So this right here, I don't know. I'm gonna pretend I'm you guys. I'm like, you guys need to win this stuff. Actually, you need to freaking win it because it's so good to have. But I'm like, check this out. So I'll pretend I have it. I'm like, so this right here, and I grab an apple or a potato or something. I'm like, this is our spatula.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah. I'm
Place
like,
it
this is
on
our
the
spatula. Yeah. So what's great is when it's your night to make dinner, Josh, you're like, I got it, honey. And you take the frozen lasagna out of the freezer and put it in the oven, take it out. You can cut it, scoop it, serve it. You have one toilet clean.
Wow.
You're like, I'm like a chef. So good. But if you're doing brownies, if you're doing cakes, like my sister does like a lot of cakes, you can ice it, cut it, serve it. You have one toilet clean. With the brownies, cut it, serve it. I use it for peanut butter and jelly all the time. I use it for cream cheese for bagels. So you can spread, you can cut, you can serve, you have one toilet clean. We're not going to use that for like larger like carving. So we have the one that you guys cut the rope with, the decarver.
Okay.
This right here is for medium-sized fruits and veggies. So you can use this, you know, those little rotisserie chickens that are already like pre-made. So if you're cutting those, you can use it together with a turning fork for doing those roasts. You can use it for cantaloupe, eggplant, squash, medium-sized fruits and veggies. Actually, pineapple, and that's your big baller clients. You just want to have one with you. But if I didn't have one, like my customers, the cookers, they went to my church. Mr. Cooker was like, oh, well, can I try this on a pineapple? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm like, you just have pineapples lying around. He's like, we eat a lot of pineapple, and we actually grow our own too.
Oh,
So he like
wow.
takes out a pineapple, and he's like, hey, can I try this? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So
Good morning.
I brought coffees for whoever wants, and you guys can share them in cups and stuff. So anyway, so this right here. So he grabs this, right? And he grabs the pineapple and he just puts it on its side and he goes, and it just like glides through. And I was like, are you serious? And I think I was more impressed than he was, but he just looked at the knife and he was like,
Wow.
wow. And his wife, Jennifer, was like, no way. He goes, let's just check. And he stands it up. And he just
Again.
like all the sides, like through the skin, and then he's like, and here's the real test. And he puts it in the middle of the core because it's the hardest part. And it just like how I just did with the apple, like just got right through. So there, I mean, you can try it on whatever you want. You're not gonna whack a frozen food with that. But this right here, it's your medium utility, and you typically want to use it for stuff that's about this size. You usually want to use a knife that's 2 or 3 inches longer than what you're cutting. It's the safest way. Because if you're cutting something bigger with this, you can hurt yourself. And if you're cutting really something small with a bigger knife, then that's like dangerous too. You can like cut your finger. So anyway, so your turning fork. And so the turning fork, by the way, that one can work together or on its own. It has 3 times so you can actually grab things with it. And they like bend around, so we can grab this, put it on its side and turn it. So it's nice when you're turning on the stove or serving at the table. I don't know if you guys ever tried to like grab something, you're like playing grease hockey and it's like going everywhere. So it's like super sharp, so it'll grab what you need. But then sometimes it gets stuck on there. Like my mom would be like biting the food off. I'm like, oh my god, it slaughters. So it's awesome because you just turn it softly and it comes right off. All right, so no grease mess, no nothing. So it's great. All right, then you have your butcher. So a lot of people confuse these two. Okay, I have this chef with me. I love this thing. And you guys have a chef knife there too. So it would be like a version, this is a smaller version of it. But people confuse these two. when they see a big knife like that, like my grandma, she'd be like, oh, big knife, whack things with it, you know, like this is not made for that. So this one is though. You see how the thicker parts in the front? This is made to whack things with it.
Okay.
This one is not. This is made for dicing. You know when you see the chefs on TV and they're like going to town jobbing, and you're like, doesn't work like that. Does not look like that in my kitchen, you know? Like, I'm gonna show you how you can be like a chef on TV. But with the butcher, it has the wider part in the front, and it's made for, you know, when you're walking. So if you have like ribs or lobster tails, or let's say my mom would buy bags of chicken wings and put them in the freezer. Instead of taking the whole thing out, put what you need there, put the rest back in there, you know? Okay. Now the complete set, Julie's set, that has 3 heavy duty knives. So this is your basic one, Protector, the basic set, okay? Then there's a hardcore version of that, which is a 1.2 pound knife called Papa Cleaver. And Papa Cleaver, that sucker is for, you know, if you do a lot of hunting, or like my family makes like whole pigs for the holidays, you know, like it's real easy. It's good for pounding and tenderizing, but also for like coconuts.
Oh,
wow. Like it's amazing. And the third heavy duty tool that comes in the complete is our Hardy Slicer. And that one is actually a tough knife for muscling through. So instead of whacking, it has a double edge, and it's like it's like those guys at the gym that are like on steroids. So like I always tell my cousins, like, you're a bad boy in the kitchen, and it just like muscles through. So if you have like root vegetables, you know, tough squash, and you want it a certain size, or even like you get a pepperoni log from Costco, you're like having a party for like football, you know, on Saturday for the game, and you can just like, instead of buying the platter, you save so much money. Like even if it's a couple bucks each week, you don't even think about how it adds up, because if you save like $5 a week, well, you just save $250, let's call it, for the year, and over 10 years of cooking, that's $2,500. You know, 20 years, it's $5,000. You just don't even think about that stuff, you know. But you just like push right through, turn it, push right through, turn it, and you have little cubes ready to go, you know. So it works absolutely fantastic. But those come, and that one comes in the medium and the complete set. Then you have your chopper. So I was telling you guys, so this is like your on TV. So check this out. So here I'm like, and I always have carrots with me. I'm like, so first of all, you have to try your vegetable peeler. I'm like, I know I'm getting really excited about a vegetable peeler, but you're gonna understand why.
Okay.
So the thing is absolutely ridiculous. All right. So here we go. So check this out. So this is our carrot, and you can actually go back and forth. And you can also, it's good for lefties. I'm not lefty, but both my parents are.
Really?
So check this out. Yeah, and my brother.
Oh, okay.
Half my family are lefties. So the girls, like me, my sisters and I are righties, and my parents and my brother are lefties. So that's something that they love, because all the stuff is good for lefties and righties. And lefties a lot of times have trouble with things, so they love it. Like our ladle has a spout like on the left side and the right side. My mom would always be like pouring, you know. So she loves that our stuff is made for both. So here, check it out, try it out. Like,
oh wow, so thin slices.
Yeah, and by the way, it's also really nice when you have like acorn squash, or I use it for cucumbers because I don't like to have all the skin on it. But anything tougher.
This handle is really nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a plastic peeler that I was peeling like some kiwis with, and it was just like slips right out of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
This one is.
Yeah, it has that grip, so even if it does get wet, or you have like you're doing a lot of cooking or going through stuff, like it's got that grip. So it's not that grip though. It's good. It's really nice. So now you can chop the carrot. So here's how this works. Okay. Ready? So I never knew how they did it until I learned with this job how to do it. And I always start in the thicker part of the carrot, so then they can be on the thinner part. It's easier. But how it works is kind of like a paper cutter. So you keep this here in the front, and you actually don't lift this up at all. What does the cutting at the front? It's actually the back of the blade. The further back it is, the easier. So the traditional chef is actually a little bit bigger, which is nicer. So when you have like big onions and stuff, it makes it really easy. Whereas some people are like, oh, I'm scared of the big knife. Like, no, like the bigger knife is actually really safe, and it's really easy to use. So here's how you check it out. So you're chopping, right? And then as you get good, you can go a little faster. All right. So here, check it out. So do it without the, and someone's like, oh yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was dealing with like Rachel Ray. But the majority, I'm like, all right. So check this out. So here, you can hold the carrot here, and then just like hit the board. So leave this here and then hit the board. Go slowly, so you watch your fingers. All right, then you go a little faster. Oh, there you go. So be like a chef, and they're like, oh my gosh, so they either know how to do it, and they're like, give me that, and they attack, or they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, and then, so that's slicing, right? So you're slicing there. And then in terms of mincing, so let's say like you were doing, I don't know, you wanted stuff for your omelets like a little bit smaller, or my mom does like, in our tuna, she'd always put celery and onions. So I just like naturally do that. And you want it smaller than that. Now you take this and you go like this.
Oh, wow.
So that, and you put it together, and you can chop here, and you can mince it really small. So here, try that. That's the mincing. So now you'll feel like a real chef. Go for it.
Like a few
So, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, my dad's always on the Food Network. You know Rachel Ray?
Yeah, of course.
She actually has Cutco in her house.
Really?
Her and her husband got it when they were given it as a gift when they got married.
Oh, nice.
But it's kind of funny because she like in her blog she actually wrote about it some years ago about how she like loved her Cutco. They got it when they got married. They sent it back. But yeah, she makes her own stuff. She sells like other stuff. And but she has Cutco in her house, and you can read it in her blog. So it's pretty cool. So let's see here my array of stuff. All right. So lastly, you have your, and by the way, the complete set also has 2 other chopping versions. So you have the traditional French chef longboard. You have a vegetable knife, which is wider blade, which is nice when you're transferring foods or doing a lot of veggie chopping. And there's a Sentoku style, which is Rachel Ray. She popularized that some years back. And it's like, it's a Japanese style cut, the Sentoku, and it kind of like goes down so you can chop with it like this, you know, instead of the rocking, you can just chop like that. You can fillet, you can rock. So it's a more specialty for someone who does more special chef cooking, or if you're watching and you're like scallying and doing whatever, you can have some fun with it. But also when you have a big family, it's really nice because you have multiple people cutting stuff. If you chop this, like that's my household, you know, like everyone uses something. You got your bread knife. Every house needs a bread knife. And whether you're doing breads or cakes, you can buy, you know, like at Costco, those pre-made cakes, and you can make more slices. It's really even. Angel Food Cakes, fresh bread. I use it for ice cream cakes. We'd use that at my apartment. My roommate and I, we would cut the Cold Stone cake or the Carvel cake, and it just kind of glides through there. So that's really nice. And it cuts through like hot bread. Like I'd never done this. And I went up to Maryland to visit one of my friends for the weekend, and his aunt was like making homemade bread, right? And she had Cutco, and I'd never even tried it. But I'd seen one of my customers like try. He's like, "Oh, can I try it? You know, like we always make our own bread." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So I'm like, "Oh yeah, it'll go right through when it's hot." And in my head, I'm like, "I don't even know. Like I've never like made my own bread."
Yeah, right.
So he's like, "Honey, check for bread in the bread." I'm like, "You guys just have bread making in the oven right now before I come over?" No, check the oven. So she goes, or the bread bin. She's like, "Oh, we don't have any." And I was like, good. I hope this works. And then he goes, "Oh, we have hamburger buns in the freezer." So he goes and gets a hamburger bun from the freezer, by the way. Puts it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. I don't know, have you guys done that before? It's like all super soggy or like squishy because of all the extra moisture. So he like grabs it. It's like, it's so soft and steaming. So all right, let's check this out. And he grabs the bread knife. No joke. You can't squeeze down on it, but he goes through I heard my friend Justin did this, so I tried it out, and I said, don't put the pressure, like don't go down, just literally let the weight of the knife do the cutting and just cut back and forth and see what happens. So he does that, and it's like it just glides. His fingerprints are like in the bread, and you're just like, oh my gosh. They have to getting one of the sets that had it, but I was so impressed. So when I was at my friend's house in Maryland, I was like, all right, we're gonna try this. His aunt takes out like this rosemary bread she had made, and she took it out. And you can go if they want like a little sandwich or whatever. There's sausage sandwiches, and then they got like peanut butter and jelly and Pop-Tarts and different things. If you want one, you can grab one and mix it up. Anyway, so this right here, by the way, when she took it out, we go through and I'm like, I just want to try it. And I went to see how thin I could get it, and I just went back and forth, and it just like glided through, like, and she's like, you have to let it rest, and it cuts right through hot bread, so it's pretty sweet. Complete Set also has a shorter, I'm old. Let me get some food. The Complete Set also has a shorter version, which is really nice for when you're entertaining at the table. You're not constantly like this huge sword around. And then my dad uses like little sandwiches and stuff as well, so he really loves that. And your master carving set, right? So again, you have your air knife, your small utility, your one for your everyday carving and prep, your turning fork. You have your heavy duty, you have your chopper, your bread, and your master carving set. And that's for your turkeys and your ham and your lamb and any roast that you're doing. So it's an S shape, so it kind of carves around it. So like I said, this was designed back in '49 to cover your basic needs. So you can see how you would use those, by the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you have your mighty little table knife. This little sucker, okay, is like if a butter knife and a steak knife had a child and put it on steroids, okay? I'm serious. It looks like no big deal, right? No big deal. You gotta see this thing in action. It's absolutely ridiculous. So check this out. So we're gonna grab your steak knife, all right? And we're gonna pretend that this is your mighty steak knife, Mr. Josh. And what I want you to do, I'm just gonna double this here. I just want you to go back and forth a little bit, all right? And stop when I tell you to stop. So go back and forth. All right, you can stop. And by the way, you could go through the whole thing, no problem. All right. Now I don't want you to stop. I just want you to put this right here and just push down a bit. Okay. So it's not made. Serrated knives are not made to cut down. Serrated knives, how they cut is they saw. All right. So go ahead and grab this and put that right there, and then just go down.
Wow.
Yeah, all right. So ours, like I said, go forward, back, and down. And just so you can see this, here, pretend, where's your stick knife? So start on the front or the back, whichever side you want. All right, so here, start here, hold this here, and just push forward. All right, you kept going. That's cool. Keep cutting. Go for it. Finish it off. All right. But do you see how it like shreds it? Do you see how it cuts back and forth? Yeah. So that's how they cut, is they just kind of tear at what they're cutting. Check this out. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so start here and then just push forward. Boom, it's already done. All right, do you see that? Yeah. And then here, go the other way, go back. So start on this side and then just go back. Boom, all right.
Wow.
So this cuts forward, as you saw, and a lot of serrated knives, like they get stuck when you're going forward. But they cut forward, they cut backwards, and then the last thing they do is the down motion that Mr. Josh did. So check this out, Jess. We're gonna stack these up. I call this stack attack, all right? So this is actually my favorite. When I did this with my dad, we were having pork chops for dinner that night, and after we did this, he literally stacked the pork chops up. He's like, let me just try this, and took this knife. He was like, what? That's so good. Check this out, ready? Hold the handle, and I'm gonna hold the tip. Do not saw, just push down, go. All right, so and it can get through the first one sometimes just from the points pressuring. Check this out, hold the handle. I'm gonna hold the tip and then just push down. Boom.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And it goes through all of them except that last one, by the way. And I could stack this up for days like Dad did with the pork chop. And just because of the down motion, it's gonna go down, all right? But when it gets to that last one, it's gonna stop because the board stops it, all right? So we have to go forward or back to finish it off.
Oh, okay.
So you can use that for tomatoes for your salad. You can use it for butter in your bread. You can use it for your chicken or steaks. Now, for people who like the feel of a larger steak knife, we do have a steak knife now too, which is pretty sweet.
Okay.
So this comes with the traditional setting of 8 table knives. You could get steak knives. Now the steak knives won't fit in the block. So that's why some people will do like the one without it and put the steak knives or flatware in the drawers.
Okay.
But this doesn't fit in here. Now in the 2 larger sets, it does fit in there. So you have this set right here. This is a medium. For anyone that likes to cook or do basic entertaining, I recommend at least this set. It has the scissors you guys loved, all right? Fits in the block. Comes with 10 table knives or 10 steak knives. And so those are the steak knives there in that picture. So that thing's awesome. We have our cheese knife. Our cheese knife has the holes in it so it doesn't stick to the block. You get nice thin slices. Thing's absolutely fantastic. Then you have your petit sentoku, which is a shorter blade, and it's in the chopping family for dicing and mincing. Then you have your Hardy slicer. This right here is the one I was telling you guys about that's in the heavy duty family. So this is for intricate mincing, the petit sentoku. I use it for like garlic. I use it for ginger. I use it for parsley, cilantro. And then this guy right here, the Hardy slicer, is for muscling through, all right? And then the complete set has the basic tools I told you about and the specialty. So it has the different chopping knives, the cleaver, the shorter bread, the boning knife, the cheese knife, and the larger paring. The only one I didn't tell you about was the salmon knife, okay? So the salmon knife is not just for salmon. Any paper thin fillets that you want. Let's say you're doing Philly cheesesteaks or something. You can like fillet the steak to make like thin, like paper thin steaks. Like you can do that with chicken. If you're doing prosciutto or carpaccios and like different fish fillets, and you do like a salad, so you can like fillet the fish and put it on the plate. It's really nice. So that's our complete set. But if you guys were considering a set, by the way, do you guys, what do you feel fits your family best? The complete set, so you have everything that you'll need long term. The medium set, where you have most of the tools for people that like to cook or do basic entertaining, or just the basic cutting tools.
The medium?
Probably the medium one.
Yeah, probably the medium.
Cool. So I'll show you that. And like I said, we have everything for the kitchen. So we do have our flatware, which is absolutely gorgeous, stainless steel, and we also have the resin. So these are really nice sets, and I show them that. We have our, we have our pots and pans here. These are low moisture cookware. I'm not going to go through the accessories because I want to go through closing just for time's sake. But what I do is I just walk through all the accessories and belt them up. And I'm like, yeah, so is there anything else you saw there that you might want to know prices on? So I already have like the signature here. All right, so mediums. All right, cool. All right, perfect. And where's the closing? There we go. All right, so this is always in the back. So once we go through all the accessories, I'm like, hey, was there anything else that you saw that you might want to know prices on? And they're like, oh, yeah, or no. Or as they're going through and I see things they like, I'm like, oh, so you like that. And I just kind of make a note of the fishing knife. Anything that they're like, ooh, you know, I just like kind of make notes on it. So I know stuff that they liked so I can offer that later. I'm like, all right, so let's talk prices. All right. Have you guys actually looked at prices at all recently for like high quality cutlery?
Pretty up there.
Yeah,
like,
we just
probably
purchased a set
around
maybe
$3,000.
a couple months ago.
Cool. So by the way, a lot of people haven't even looked at prices recently. So you guys already know then what the prices are because most people get a set when they like get married and don't even like look at the prices again. So as you guys have, so this right here, so there's such a wide variety of quality and prices available, you know. You guys know you can buy cheaper sets, obviously like Walmart and stuff, and you can buy like, you know, nice sterling silver handle sets too. This right here, if you guys go to Williams-Sonoma, I don't know, where did you guys go to check
that's
out? Yeah, so if you go to Williams-Sonoma, if you go to Macy's, Toilet Table, you're gonna see these sets. So Wusthof, which you guys had,
right.
and you have Shoot. So the Wusthof are the most popular. And by the way, they have different grades. So this is their top stuff. This would be like their 7 series model. All right. So Cutco is the best. We only compare to the top stuff. This right here, they're very high quality, you know, steel, best handle materials, great craftsmanship. They're fantastic. Both of these are made, and they're made overseas. As you can see, they're not cheap. The prices range from $3,000 to $4,000. You can find them on sale. Again, they're the best, so obviously they're not, you know, they're going to cost money. Now, biggest differences between us and them, they have the straight handles where we have the universal white block handle, which is really comfy and fits everyone. They're not supposed to be put in the dishwasher where ours can be. They have those edges that have to be sharpened all the time where Cutco has a double D edge to protect everything. And even our straight edges hold their edge a lot longer because of how they're manufactured. Biggest thing, you will replace these. They're fantastic, but you will replace them. Where with Cutco, when someone makes the investment, you'll never ever you know, spend money on Cutco again. All right. This right here, most people who own Cutco will tell you it's like 10 times better than any knives ever used. You know, like the Pinkett's and Julie and these guys who have had them. I know you guys haven't had a chance to really use Cutco that much yet, but considering the unique features and the guarantee, most people agree it's at least twice as good as the overseas brands. You know, when something's twice as good, offers twice the quality and value, what do you expect to pay in price?
Twice.
Yeah, and twice the price, even with the sale price for a basic set, you'd be looking at well over $4,000. Cool. So again, and that doesn't include, ours includes like the kitchen tools and the scissors, where this is just the actual knife set. Now, cool thing is because we're not sold in stores, none of our sets are $4,000, although they would be if they were sold in stores. They're not even as much as these, which range in retail price, you know, $3,000 to $4,000. All right. Our complete set actually that you guys liked here, which comes with that, the kitchen tools, and you know, has the scissors in it, is actually only $26.10. All right, and that surprises a lot of people because again, it's like double the knives, guaranteed forever, and has the kitchen tools. Our medium set, all right, is $19.25, and our basic set is $14.97. All right. Now I know. I'm assuming you guys didn't put away a couple grand waiting for the knife girl to come by. All right.
Yeah, not exactly.
So most people, when they do see stuff that they like, they want to try it. So the company actually has a deposit program. All right. So you could pay for it in full. You're like, oh, I love this. I'm gonna get it. Let's go. All right. But most people, that's like not the case right off the bat. So what the company has is our deposit program, and it's 100% refundable.
Okay.
Security deposit. All right. And what it allows you to do is to put down 20% deposit on any set that you want to try. Cool. So it would actually give you 3 weeks to try it and just see how you guys like it.
So how's the interest on that?
It's interest free.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So you have 3 weeks to try it and see how you like it. And then so the deposit for this one, if you wanted to try this out, would come out to $567. The deposit for this one here would come out to $419, and the deposit for this one here would come out to $324. All all right? So yeah, if you wanted to try it out, how this would work is they would charge you the first deposit, right, on a credit card, debit card, check, whatever. They'd put that down, and you would get the products. And once you get it, you have 3 weeks to use it, make sure you love it. And if for any reason there's any individual things you don't like, you can send those back, or all of it, you can send it back. Worst case scenario, you guys had free Cutco for 3 weeks. Cool.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, you guys love it, you can call and pay the whole thing off, or they'll just charge you the same amount every 30 days. So if you guys did that, I know you guys had said you like the medium set before, but if you guys did that and kept it on the investment options, it would basically come out to $104 per week you'd have to put aside. So it'd be like $50 each, all right? So that's what that would come out to if you guys kept it, or you can call and pay it off. Cool. So let me tell you guys about something called first call special, like buy now bonus. Basically, it's a reason to try it out now versus later. If you guys wanted to try that set out and just see how you like it, you could actually pick out $200 in free gifts of just like gadgets, that fishing knife that you really liked, and the barbecue set, as well as the can opener. Like those are things that you could actually pick out as free gifts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So now that you guys know the prices, is that still a set that you'd be excited about trying out? Do you think you maybe want to try out the complete set? Mr. Josh, I think based on it, yeah.
I think the complete set's looking a little better now.
Okay. Well, by the way, with this one, you could actually get up to $250 in free stuff. So you could pick out some other things. So that's what you guys want to do. So again, you'd put down the deposit, get it, try it. I mean, would you guys want to pay in full, or do you rather put the deposit so you can try it out and see how you like it?
I think we'll try it out.
Okay, cool. So we'll put that, you'll get it, you have 3 weeks, and again, worst case, we can send it back, and I highly doubt that'll be the case. You're gonna love it so much,
Yeah,
all right?
I love it.
So cool. And by the way, the stuff that you guys have, if you're open to it, you can trade it in. We give everything to charity, which is really cool.
Wow.
So it'll help somebody out. And if you did trade them in, like I always throw in like a free gadget, as a thank you. Whatever they
Yeah,
can't
I would love
use,
to do
they'll
that.
Recycle it, whatever they can. Salvation Army or Goodwill, whatever, like sell it to help people out. Cool.
Mhm.
So do you guys want to do that in the classic or the pearl?
I really
She's
like
liking
the
the pearl.
pearl.
I think you go with the wife, whatever she likes.
Yeah.
And by the way, with the complete set, Julie did this too. You actually get a free plaque in either stainless steel or brass
Oh, wow.
that I give you, and you can get it engraved with whatever you want. So either like a family name, like I've had people like made especially for the Vasquez family, or I've had like one lady, Joanne, she put like Joanne's weapons, don't touch, I've had people put Bible verses or quotes or whatever you guys want. What do you think you guys would want to have on the plaque?
Probably DaCosta, our last name.
Okay, cool. Like DaCosta family?
Yeah,
or like,
absolutely.
okay, cool. So we'll do that. So, all right. So, well, before I do that, I have a little project for you guys. All right. By the way, how did you like everything? By the way, when you got it, you're gonna love it so much more. Like all your friends will tell you that have it. Like they absolutely love this stuff. And I think more so you'll love it more 10 years from now than even now. Like as much as you'll love it when you get it, like when the time goes and you're using it, like I love meeting people who've owned them because they're just always raving so much about it, But anyway, so this right here. So thank you guys so much for just doing the appointment, because every single appointment helps me get one step closer. So if you can sign this for me, please. Put your autograph over here. So you can put that, sign anywhere here, put your initials, doesn't matter. You can sign anywhere on the side. Signing frenzy. Yeah, go for it. Then you have, in terms of the sales, this is my old one was full. I hit my goal.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you can put your name on there too. Sure, give me the handout. All right, and then actually my sales goal, I'll put that there. You guys help me towards this too. So we'll put here, and you can actually put your name inside there. Just put Josh and Jess. So we have that. But by the way, again, thank you guys so much, because that sale definitely helped me get closer for my scholarship, for my contest. But most importantly, thank you guys just for the appointment. Like I know you could have been doing a million other things right now. I really appreciate it. And if I complete 50 appointments, like I will hit my goal. So that's why I said this was actually the most important thing, was my sponsorship. As you guys know, I get paid every time I show it. And I can only call people I've been personally recommended to. So what I need you guys to do while I clean the mess here and write up your order is jot down 200 to 300 people who might be nice enough to help me out. All right. I'm just kidding. I'm not looking for anyone you think would buy, just anyone super nice. Like you guys take a look. And so here's how my sponsorship works, which I don't have my right back there. So we're going to pretend. So when I get 50 sponsors, I get $150 reward. All right. All you have to do to be a sponsor is write down 10 names. All right. So let's say you guys fill out, a full sheet like Miss Chelsea did, or Cheryl, you would sign 3 times. Like Julie, she fills out a full sheet here, so she signed 3 times. Let's say you got to just 20, like Angela did, you would sign twice. And even if you only get to 10, you still sign once. All right. So here's a couple sheets, and I always hand 2 sheets with the highlights already, everything pre-done like we were doing yesterday. Here's a couple sheets, jot down as many as you can. By the way, you get 2 sheets, you go in my favorite customer book. You only fill out 1. I'm just kidding. I'm like, is it cool if I use a sink, by the way?
Yeah, sure.
All right, and then I go. And by the way, I always clean first. I dry the knives and I leave them out. There's a reason for this. And then I start writing, and that's where you can call and say, hey, my customer's definitely getting this. I want to see it. So they're working on recommendations, and I'm calling, like if that was a definite sale. If they were considering, I would have already called it, all right? And then I'm like, all right. So then I write up the order, all right? And if you didn't have a sale during that time is a time that, like you're cleaning up. I leave the knives out on purpose because they're done when you're done. I want to maximize my recommendations. I want them to keep writing. Okay, so that's really important. Like I want them to keep writing as long as possible. So they're going to stop when you stop. So I want to be busy. So even at the end, I'll polish my knives for as long as I need to until they're done. Like polishing. Oh, I'm almost in. Oh, Will's is nice from here. And I'm just polishing like as long as I need to until they're done. All right. So we write up, call in. Hey, my customer's definitely getting this. Find out any other deals or packages or bundles, and then roll from there. All right. So that, so I real quick, just because, for time's sake, I want to get you guys on the phone and start cranking out some demos. What are the things that you guys just like little takeaways, things that you noticed through the demo that I did to keep them engaged, to connect? Like, what are the things you guys noticed through there?
Really, you just had their attention the entire time, just talking. You were so easy.
I mean, you didn't just like go like page by page, like each page, like you took your, you went slow with each page, like even though you talked fast, like every page took its time, and it was really slow, and you kind of like you made sure they were intrigued on that single page, like they didn't like go off like there now.
And by the way, and it depends on the customer. They were totally into it, and you got to feel your customers out. I can do a demo in 15, 20 minutes if they're like. And they're in a rush. I'm like, hey, this, and I'll go through real quick. Even through the names and uses, if someone's in a rush, there'll be times where I just didn't even, we didn't cut much up at all. It was just like, hey, this is your air knife, this is your small utility, this is this, and I just kind of went through real quick. Do you guys ever cut this? That's what you use. Do you guys ever cut small stuff? That's what you do. Do you guys ever make sandwiches or desserts? Cool, that's what you'd use. And like, it just, you got to feel your customer. They were more into it, so I was engaging with them, telling them stories, going through, or if someone's like more in a rush, then I'm going to be quicker with things, so that's just kind of you learn feeling your customer out, but it's just hitting your objectives. All right. You got to connect with them. In the beginning, I do a lot of rapport that I didn't do there. After you do that, make sure to establish that the company's legit. So talking about company facts, things they've been featured and going through, then you create a problem, right? And one of the things that I don't know, you guys being newer, you might not even catch that I did is I talk about sets a lot, okay? Mm-hmm. So even here, by the way, I say sets with wood handles are disgusting. Sets with plastic, they chip, crack, melt. Sets, and it's sets. I want them thinking about sets. This was something that Bartholomew, one of my top reps, he would always be like, oh, knives like this. And he had like a $500 average order. Never sold sets. I'm like, how is that even possible? When you sell pieces, your average order is typically around $200. So I sat down with him and I saw his demo. Not once did he ever say the word set. I said, one change, just say the word sets. He's like, but how do I? I'm like, instead of knives, just say sets with wood, sets with plastic. A lot of sets are improperly constructed. Sets with carbon, we call them this. Sets with stainless, and watch what happens. Next demo, sold a set, all right? I think he sold like a gallon, and then he sold a gourmet, he sold a homemaker, and his average order went up to about $800 just with that one switch. Because, it's psychologically worth it, and that's from even when you walk into the house. What a beautiful set of furniture, what a beautiful set of kids. No, I'm just but just implementing sets in their home. People buy, sets. So I go through sets. Then, I went through, built up. Testimonials are huge, whether you're showing videos, or you're showing, handwritten testimonials. Did you guys see how I always talked about people they knew or stories? Like I go through a lot with stories because they connect, they can relate with stories. It captures more like an emotional connection versus just like I'm sharing facts with you. So they can connect, they can relate. So even with the junk knives, like I always like, and those are stories from different demos that I encountered. Like the guy who had this knife, I was like so disgusted, and he pulled it out. He's like, look. I was like, oh, cool. But going through, stories. These are my customers. I shared them. Ben Abdallah, Lori Farrell. The Farrells are the ones that bought a complete set. And then she was like, I know everyone in the neighborhood. When I was running my meeting the other day, I talked about her. And then I sold $15,000 to some of the neighbors in a 2-day period. It was so easy. I'm like, oh yeah, Ben sold Cutco in the 60s. Oh yeah, Lori just bought a complete set. Do you want Lori's set or do you just want the Ben set?
That's something I caught too. You wouldn't say like the complete or the signature. You kept referring to the people's sets.
Yeah, last night Buzali sold a complete set, got 30 recommendations. All right, and I said that's, and I said complete set. Hey, nice job. You're gonna sell more. I said how many recs? He goes 30. I go hell yeah. I said that's what I'm most excited about. I was like that's the best demo that you can have because now every time you go to them, I said your complete set now has a new name. It's Julie's set, and you say hey, by the way, so this is Julie's set. It has everything you're gonna need. We have our medium set, and then we just have our basic for cutting. And at the end, when you go to close, like hey, so if you were considering a set, would you want Julie's set? Do you want this, or do you just want the basic? And they're like, yeah, I like Julie's set, and people always kind of keep up with everyone else, or they'll just
you don't
want
want
to
go lower. If
Right.
anything, you're gonna get the better one.
So going through there, but they're just little things throughout, but just telling stories, painting pictures, and again, you got to be able to adjust when someone's in a row. But I'd say the majority of my demos had that feel, the majority of them, because I connected with them. I had a lot of fun with my customers, but I definitely had people that were in a rush or had to go, and some people that weren't as engaged, and that's fine. We just went through it quicker. But hopefully that helps you guys going through there. You can press stop broadcast there. All right.